Oh, and we're live. Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
Usually just do some intro blabbering like this while waiting for a couple people to show up. But
Nice. Little jibber jabber.
a little jibber jabber, if you will. Yeah.
I just got off the phone with Michael Gilbride. I just made Michael Gilbride hang up so I could get on with you.
Oh, really? Oh my goodness, that's fun. Michael Gilbride, putting out music on Substack, huh?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Look,
Michael and I just had a long chat about, I think, some of the stuff you and I are going to talk about.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I am quick trying to bring up the live on my desktop. So
yeah.
there it is.
Sure.
So I can see the chat effectively. If anyone has questions on music stuff on Substack and newsletters and all that good stuff and crowdfunding, which will be the basis of this talk, please put it in the chat. So let's go. Let's go. You are crowdfunding a new musical project and a film, right? Is that all in one? Yeah.
All in one. Yeah.
Yeah. How's that going since you announced it?
Well, it's exciting. It hasn't. The crowdfunding campaign has not officially launched yet. It goes live next Thursday on Indiegogo, and hopefully all sorts of folks will follow along and subscribe to What Am I Making, and they'll get regular updates on this whole thing. And so basically, what I've been doing is kind of charting the beginning of the project. And this week, I unveiled kind of like everything that's going to happen, what the rewards are if you are an investor or a contributor to the plan, the project, and we've kind of been doing like a slow rollout, so to speak, and we start asking for money officially in 6 days.
It's exciting. Why Indiegogo?
So I looked at a number of different places, and I really based on rates and people, and when I say people, I mean like the folks who are crowdfunding or the kinds of folks who are trying to raise money. Indiegogo seemed like a place that there were a number of independent musicians who were using that as a resource, and so it seemed like a place where we might find some additional people who maybe were new to my work specifically. It's always the thing of like trying to combine your fan base and your email list. And, in my case, my musical email list and my Substack email list, and trying to combine those two things and then turn that into X amount of support, and then try to build a new set of support someplace else. And so largely with Indiegogo, it was the hopes that they would bring in maybe a larger percentage of people who had already invested in projects similar to this.
Okay. Did you have a project on there before?
No, I've never crowdfunded like this before.
Oh, okay. Like this. So you have crowdfunded though.
So what I've done is I've basically found enough way to scrape enough money together to make a record, and then done pre-orders.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. And for anybody who's done that, what that basically means is you ask your friends and family to trust you enough that sooner or later you'll actually finish your record.
Yeah.
And then they hound you 3 times and they go, "Hey, you never mailed that to me." And you go, "Oh, damn it." Because I'm really good at making the thing, logistics are not the purview of musicians always.
Oof. That's a tough one. Yeah. For a lot of musicians are good at the musician part for the most part. A lot of other stuff can fall by the wayside.
The business bits we struggle with sometimes.
Business, marketing, replying to emails.
That's one that's a real. I have a real issue with this. I have no patience for this. I come from. You've done enough of this. I come from a world where when you've spent 25 years emailing people asking me, "Hey, can I play your venue?"
Right.
A real simple way for me to stop bothering you is to just write me back and go, "No, you may not."
Sure.
You don't even have to tell me why.
Yeah.
It would be great if you did, but if you told me something, I would stop hounding you.
Yeah.
Right? And so instead, what you decide to do is take that times however many people are emailing you every day, maybe 100, 120 people to play your venue. And you're just letting all that ride, and it just piles up and gets worse. Instead of just going, "You're not a good fit. That night's taken. We prefer to have bands that are closer to home." Whatever. Just be honest about what's really going on. Yes, it can seem a little harsh. It can hurt. But if you're professional about it, bands will learn to take it, or they will find another hobby.
Find another hobby. Yeah, well put. Yeah, I mean, there's the argument of no is an answer, but also too no reply is just kind of an invite to okay, 2 weeks later I'm going to email you again.
Yeah, I mean, my
So
standard procedure when I'm trying to book shows is, like, especially if I'm booking for like a stretch of like 3-week tour or whatever, a week. If I don't hear from you in a week, I'm going to follow up and go, hey, just want to make sure you got this. Didn't end up in spam. Here's usually one more thing, like another link or an image or something, and just go, hey,
yeah,
I'll check in again in a few days. Hope to hear from you soon. To let them know, like, hey, I'm not going to give up in a very
yeah,
polite way. I'm going to continue to get a hold of you.
yeah, yeah. Whew. So, speaking of logistics, speaking of all that fun stuff, so you have a number of people involved in this as well, other musicians,
I
um,
do.
that
Yeah.
reply to your emails, that to do this. I'm sure there were some emails sent.
A lot
So
of text threads, Seth.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's great. So having other people involved in this too kind of shapes how you put this out there into the world as well, right? Like they have to be on board with like some of the vibes and ideas at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, the reality is when you put out a record at the level that we're putting out a record,
Mhm.
it's going to make, under the best of circumstances, a very small impact. So what you hope you can do is basically, at least what I'm trying to do with this project, is basically find a way to do a whole bunch of stuff in a really tight timeline.
Mhm.
And so there was the idea of like, hey, we could take a bunch of these songs and make a conventional record. And then we could do some stuff beyond that. And like, I mean, I say talks, like I thought of that. Like I kind of just brought this idea to them in a very nascent form. And then it kind of ballooned out of control, to be honest. But we'll get to that.
Ooh.
But long story short, the idea basically became, instead of trying to make a studio record, what if we made a live record? One of the things that I've had going on in my musical career is that I've been in a series of bands, but I haven't made a record under my own name in 25 years.
Mm.
And yet I've spent the last 2 summers going out and playing a bunch of shows as a solo artist. And so I've been able to make that happen, but it's more difficult when you're not like, hey, he's got 4 records that are on Spotify or Bandcamp or, that I can buy at the store.
Yeah.
Um, and so I needed to do something quickly and I needed to do something that had my name on it. And so quickly, I sort of came to this idea of like, I have some new songs I've been working on. And I also have some old material I'd like to resurrect a little bit. What if we did both of those in a show? And I got a hold of a local theater and talked to the Wild Honey Collective, who are this great band from Lansing that have been longtime friends. And they were like, yeah, let's do this. And then it became, okay, I think I can get a bunch of people to help me record this and photograph it. And I can almost pay those expenses by selling out the room.
Mhm.
What if I found a way to tell that story? And then to be honest with you, it just kind of exploded from there. And then it became this thing of like, yeah, but then people are going to expect that if you do this, you're going to have CDs and you're going to have vinyl because that's how bands make money. And the other way bands make money is t-shirts. And so you should have all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, but we're doing all that for one show. And so then it quickly in my mind became about this idea of like, how do I tell the story of what it actually is like to make a record?
Yeah.
Present yourself as a professional outfit and get on Spotify so that people can quote unquote enjoy your music for free.
Mhm.
And it really became about what's the least amount of money that I could do that and tell a compelling story. And the number that I came up with was $20,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. The telling the story and the logistics behind it, and I mean, you laid out the dollar amounts in that post. Um, have you gotten some interesting reactions to that? Like, 'cause a lot of people don't know that, like, oh, I support this artist on Spotify. Okay, yeah, they make a tenth of a penny. Oh, wait, no, I thought I was supporting them. Like, what are people's reactions to some of these numbers?
I think a lot of sort of well-educated music fans are kind of aware that the streaming economy is not necessarily a very fair platform for artists. I
Mhm.
don't know that they know how dire the circumstances are. I mean, my audience, I talk about it so often, I kind of get made fun of, which is fine. Like
All
that
right.
means I'm telling the story enough that people are paying attention.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it the sole purpose of what I do, and I don't ever want to be like, the get off my lawn, take that approach. But like
Sure.
at the same time, I also want to say like, you love music, you think music's one of the most important things in the world, you want it to be there all the time. we all want to get as much value for our investment as we can. But when you're spending $15 a month, you are leasing songs. You are not owning them. You are not investing in them. And so what happens is no one winds up investing in the artist. And nobody understands that not only does the artist not get paid very much, the artist is the last person in the chain to get paid.
Mhm.
And so the whole point of doing a project like this is to say the bare minimum way to do this, the way people sort of expect you to do it, is to spend, something like 15 or 20 grand.
Mhm.
And there's not really a way to, I mean, like people that sit there and go, well, $20,000 is a lot of money to make a record, Matt. Yep. And if I want to make 500 vinyl records, I got to spend about $6,500 to do it. Now, this is going to be a little bit more than a normal price, which would be about 5 grand. Or excuse me, no, it's going to be five grand to do it. I could normally have done it for about 35, but we're doing a double album because it's going to be a full show.
Wow.
So we're spending a little bit more money on vinyl. But again, whether you're talking about $3,500 or $5,000, you're talking about a very significant investment that most bands are never sure they're going to get back.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so my whole thing is, what if we could find a way to pay for this and to tell the story, to get it up into the world, and then show people sort of the tip of the iceberg that they normally get to see. Because what everybody gets to see is they get to see, and this is a good week to do this, they get to see Taylor Swift go on a podcast and announce her record.
True.
They don't see the years and years of work that she put into that hour that she spent on that podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's tell that story. Then let's also tell the story of what it's really like to be a truly independent artist and how long the odds really are. And what does that say about the way we invest in our culture? Yeah, we all feel like we're hurting for money. Yeah, we all feel like we would like one less subscription in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So let's prioritize. I've got stuff in my life that I can cut out, that I'm going to cut out long before I stop investing in music. I have things in my life that if music suddenly became twice as expensive, if I went from paying $15 a month to $30 a month for Apple Music,
Mm-hmm.
I would cut something else out of my life. I would not stop listening to Apple Music.
Yeah. Priority.
Right. And I think most people are going to do that. And I don't think any artists are putting them in a position where they have to do that. Right. When Spotify raises your membership rate, they're still paying me 1/3 of a cent for a stream.
Yeah.
Right. Labor costs didn't go up.
Right. Yeah. The important part here is the story, that it's not just, and I see this a lot over the decades, hey, we have a new album out, or hey, crowdfund my thing.
Right.
Like, you're on my email list, crowdfund this thing. Telling a story. Like, you're making the important thing here that I really love is, like, I mean, to do it in a theater, to like bring people together, to make it an event, is the amount of tension involved in that, the risk involved in that. Like, people got to show up at the theater.
Yeah. And we got to play well.
You got to play. Right. Yeah.
Right. This is not, hey, let's do another take.
Right. Yeah.
Like, we get a sound check and we get some rehearsals and we get, we're working on a warm-up show or two. We're not talking about a ton of prep. And this is not, my project is not their primary function. They're playing like this super big folk and bluegrass festival in a couple of weeks. And I am very much on the back burner at the moment. And that is great with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, again, it's a really short window to kind of make something that I hope is going to have a little bit of permanence.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, not education, but just like more people being brought into the fold of like what actually goes on and how this stuff is made is valuable. Like, that's how messages spread, is by having people in a room, hearing something, being around something, seeing like prices laid out like this. Like, that's how messages spread.
And to go back to what you were talking about earlier, it's all storytelling.
Yeah.
It's all, hey, maybe, I've got this audience of, however big it is, that pay attention to my music and my Substack.
Yep.
at a few thousand people. And those people, to varying degrees of attention, are essentially saying, "Hey, Matt, we like your style, right? We like what you're saying. We like the music you make. We like your perspective on the world. We like the way you write. We like whatever." In essence, what I'm asking them is to go, "Hey, if you like my style and if you appreciate the work I do, and if these issues are important to you,
Mm-hmm.
will you give me a little bit of your hard-earned money
Yeah.
to help me tell this story, bring this thing into the world, and then I will give you, you know, these physical artifacts back that
Mm-hmm.
that will be exciting and unique and special to you. But they will not be worth what you invested, because you're investing in something bigger than a physical thing. You're investing in an
Right.
idea, a concept. And as I've tried to pitch to Michael when we were on the phone, like, there aren't a lot of opportunities for you to invest in a project where you can actually be a part of history. Like, this
Yeah.
is a
Oh yeah.
this is a moment where art and commerce are butting heads against each other as fiercely as they ever have.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I'm the best person to tell that story. I just know I'm the best person to tell this story. And I think by telling this story, I can shine a larger light on that issue.
Yeah. Well, one, it's a story for your audience. Two, it's for people that look at this story from the outside and might be inspired to be like, oh, maybe I can do that too. Which, I'm hoping, by doing something like this so much of what we do and how we do this depends on like what we see other people doing, if it's possible. And like, I think the idea of doing like a live performance, all that, like that's just permission for more people to do this sort of stuff with their
Permission's the
audience.
perfect word. That's
Permission.
exactly the word that I had in my head, was that, like, and that's why things like, identity on screen, for example, are so crucial, because
Mm,
it's a way for somebody to pave a path and go, look, this is you, right?
yeah.
This is where you want to be, or this is what you want to do, and you think you have this hurdle because you are this gender or this skin color or have this sexual orientation or come from this place. And when people sort of break those stereotypes, there's a James Baldwin quote that I think about almost daily. Um, the place in which I am meant to exist will not exist until I create it.
Mm,
And I think for most people who are doing the kind of work that you and I are doing, Seth, we're all kind of, in a way, creating, carving that
oh,
own space for ourselves. And what it does, and uh, that connection like this is so crucial, is that, my chasm finds yours, and that we
mm.
find this common ground as we sort of like dig these paths to try to find a new way and a new place.
Yeah. The We didn't reply to a job posting for this. We're like, no, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
This is, there's a great quote. Jen Meyer. Oh, she had I won't be able to find it further, but was just like, I'm not doing. Jen Mayer of Zine Stack here on Substack does an amazing work in that, curating super creative, cool stuff. And made a note, a month ago or something, just like, but like I'm just making my own job. Like, I'm making the job I want. Like, we're getting older, and it's at a point now where it's just like, yeah, no, I'm going to create this. I have to create this. Like, no companies out there saying like, yeah, please do this.
Yeah,
So
well, and
I'm going to make it.
part of it is it's like necessity is the mother of invention. You
Oh
spend
yeah,
enough time being miserable doing it for other people. You're like, I might as well be miserable doing it for myself.
yeah, oh yeah. The amount of media outlets that like pay shit to be an editor or whatever for them, like, yeah, I could be broke and write for myself then, and then build a brand for myself, build a name for myself.
Yeah.
and run it the way I want to do it. Why do I want to do it for such a low pay and for some prestige name or whatever like that? Screw you. I'm going to do it for myself.
I think there's also something to this mentality, and I notice this a lot. And this is one of the things that I love about Substack so much. Is there? I have a friend, and we call this the Little Rascals mentality.
Okay.
And the idea behind that, and I'm an old man, so I know what the Little Rascals are. For those of you who don't know, these were 30s black and white like shorts that were done with kids, and they were little comedy things. It was basically like little sort of like vaudeville comedy sketches with children, and they were really kind of adorable and funny. And now they seem very much out of place and out of time. And I grew up watching these in reruns, and inevitably in every short that the Little Rascals ever did, there was essentially one moment where they went, "Look, we've got a curtain and a stage. Let's put on a show." Like that's essentially every Little Rascals episode ever. And there is that kind of like, okay, we've got a platform and we've got a viewpoint and we've got a little bit of stuff to say. And boy, it gets a lot more interesting when I say that stuff and I find other people who think much of the same way that I do, but also approach the world in a slightly different way. And then we start to talk and then it builds.
Yep.
And it becomes more interesting because nothing stays exciting. Like I'm in a 12 by 16 Shedio. It's amazing. It's my sacred space.
Mm-hmm.
It's also absolutely stultifying after being in here for 12 hours because I haven't had other human contact and I'm all by myself and I'm in my own head too much. So
Yeah.
you got to leave. You got to get the hell out.
Yeah. The big point there is other people.
And that's the point. It's community. It's realizing that like no matter how many great ideas I have, they don't matter if I'm not sharing them and then getting sort of feedback and pushback from those other people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the biggest way to find and resonate with or get your thing out there is to just keep talking about it. And
well, you and I, not to cut you off, Seth, but you and I talked when you were on the pod a while back. You and I spent a lot of time talking about signaling.
yeah.
Okay. And one of the things you said, and I'm going to paraphrase here that I thought was so great, was you said something to the effect of be careful because the work that you're doing is the work that you will be known for. Something like that. In essence, what you were saying was like, if you're doing a thing and you don't like doing it, just understand that the more you say yes to doing the thing that you hate, the more likely it is you'll continue to get asked to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sort of opposite of that is to signal, I don't want to have to say yes to other people.
Yeah.
And what I do is I do this thing over here and I send out an email every day or every 2 times a week, or I put up this YouTube video, or I made this record. And so the people who are kind of trying to build this life are basically saying, it's not just that I don't want to play that game or that I think I'm special. It's that I'm just brave enough to go carve a path.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah. The idea, my buddy Casey said this, in response to we were talking about artists that are trying to get off Spotify and stuff like that. And one thing that keeps coming up is, well, it's convenient. It's convenient for fans.
Yeah.
And again, I was on a call talking about this with some label people and stuff, and it was just like, on behalf of the artist, this label person was like, "Well, screw convenience. Like the artist is." Going back to what you said earlier about like, in the Spotify thing, you get paid the least. Like it reminds me of the Steve Vai interview he did or whatever eons ago. But like, he's like, I get paid the most. Like he started his own little record label when he was a scrappy, just getting started in this. Like, he's like, I get paid the most. And I just love that. And like, so pushing that more towards, I'm the artist. Like I call the shots. I play where I want to play. I set up shop where I want to like, it's like, a fan that would be like, oh, you're not on TikTok. I'm only on TikTok. Well, sorry. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like,
I hope TikTok is effective for you. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're finding fans.
Sure.
I hope you get community. I'm not shitting on TikTok as a thing. I just think, like, are you on TikTok saying something? Are you on TikTok communicating anything or sharing anything or getting anything back? Or are you just getting views?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, is it sort of like a value exchange? Or is it that you're doing it? And I've been guilty of this myself. Are you looking at those numbers to sort of validate what you're doing?
Hmm.
Right? So it's very easy for me as somebody who doesn't have a lot of self-confidence from time to time to look at metrics on Substack, for example, and go, oh, I guess I should change what I'm writing about, or I should do this a different way, or maybe my headlines suck. And it's like, no, no, no. The problem, Matt, is that today you feel like shit. The problem is
Yeah.
not what the numbers say. The problem is not 4 people unsubscribed because you sent them another email today. That's
Hmm.
not the problem. The problem is that you don't feel confident in your work right now. And
Mm.
and go find something else to do.
Yes.
Don't do that right now because it's
Right.
not productive. Go
Yeah.
for a walk. Now, do I do that? Not as much as I should. Right? But it's like slowly trying to learn that lesson, son.
Slowly, after all these decades. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
There's the author John Green. I saw him post a thing on YouTube, and he's like walking in the woods, and he goes, "Just a quick thing for everybody out there." He goes, you know how they say that if you're feeling depressed or anxious, you should just go for a walk for 10 minutes. Do you want to know what the problem is with that? He takes this long pause and he goes, "It fucking works."
Yeah. Yeah. Just getting away from the laptop, getting out of the space, just changing the context.
Yeah.
Let me hit you with this though. Like, I mean, you were talking about like the Substack numbers or the open rate or whatever. Like, you're doing a crowdfunding thing where it's real dollars. Like,
Real
that's
dollar.
like, whoa. So how do you brace for that? What's the contingency plans for that? Like, as that starts next Thursday.
So bracing for it is I find Xanax works well. Um
Okay.
no, basically it's take a big deep breath,
Yeah.
cross your fingers, do the work, hope for the best, not know what's going to happen, and be
Hmm.
willing to tell the story of whatever it is that happens.
Yeah.
Right? So if the way that I tell that story is, hey, we only raised $1,800 and I have to tell this on my Substack, and the $1,800 was enough for us to record the show.
Hmm.
And that's what we did with it. And then we put it up on Spotify and we mixed it ourselves and we did the promotion ourselves and this is what happened. And that will be the story that we tell.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
right. But the other angle of that is basically continuing to tell the story of, hey, this is how funding is going while crowdfunding is happening. To
Oh yeah.
say, this is what we're trying to do. This is what we've been asking people for. This is the response we've gotten or not gotten or that has been
Hmm.
middling. And this is where we are. And this is how I am kind of looking to prepare. And I can't write those posts and envision that thing until it happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what it's gonna look like, even if it succeeds. Right.
Yeah.
I could tell you, Seth, I have a friend or a rich uncle or a eccentric neighbor who's gonna go, oh Matt, you need 20 grand? Here's 30. Right? Go to town and pay mortgage up ahead a little bit.
Hmm.
That would be amazing and it would take a lot of the
Sure.
pressure off. But I still have to go make a thing, and I can't tell you what that thing is going to look like. And I
Right.
can't tell you because all we're talking about doing is basically making, promoting, and releasing the thing, and then making a movie to tell the story.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that no matter how great that is, without a PR campaign and a little bit of luck, no one will ever hear it. Right? So we could spend $30,000, tell an amazing story, get a film out of it, put it up on YouTube, put a record out on Spotify, press 500 records, and it's a giant wet fart.
Good.
And then you turn around and you tell that story. And
Hmm.
then I got to look at myself and my plan and go, okay, what what did I do wrong? What didn't I prepare for? What
Mm.
what could have been handled differently? Was this too much of an investment that should have been spent over here? And then you start to unpack that
Mhm.
and look at it. And then you look at it and go, or is it that trying to do this is like trying to get drafted into the NBA?
Mm.
And I don't know that the odds are that long, Seth, but I think what we're realizing is we're getting to a point where like you are going to have people who have no choice but to do this as a hobby and
Mhm.
still be required to do it at a professional level.
Mm.
And then you're going to have mega stars and you're not going to have a lot of people in between.
Oh, for sure.
Right. And so what I'm saying is, I don't know how many millions of people watch that Taylor Swift podcast. Everybody knows how that works.
Yeah.
Everybody watched the Eras film.
Mm.
Nobody knows how it works for most people
Yeah.
because there's one Taylor Swift and there's thousands of artists in my boat.
Yeah.
They may not look or sound or present like I do,
Yep.
but we've all got a lot more in common with each other than we do as Taylor Swift.
Yeah. And I really feel like too is how isolated we all are doing that. There's there's a dozen of you right now, maybe even doing an interview right now talking about this
Right.
on Beehive or with a regular music blog or a small music publication in wherever. And no one knows.
No,
Like we all know in our own little thing. Like, I mean,
which goes back to your point of you got to keep telling the story.
you gotta keep telling the story. Yeah. You just you never know who might hear it, who might run with it, who might like, and yeah, it's just a continual tell it like it is, and you get to shape that story. You
Yeah,
get
and I
to.
don't. I was talking to Michael about this, and one of his sort of questions or concerns was, you know, do you want this? Do you want to be careful not to make this too negative? You don't want that to be the story. I
Mm,
don't want negativity to be the story. What I want to do is I want to
right.
show what this group of people and I are able to do with very very modest uh,
Mm,
assets and resources,
yeah,
and then put that out into the world and to see what happens with it, and to
yeah,
tell to have the opportunity to tell that story, and for the realities of Spotify, what it's like to press vinyl. I mean, if you're a music fan and you're interested in any band,
hmm,
wouldn't I would think most music fans would be interested in the story of how records are made in this day and age, how they're promoted, the way that
hmm,
vinyl's pressed, the way that CDs are made. I've had lots of people who are shocked at how much or how little some things cost, how long things take to produce. Like a lot of people are like, is it really going to take a year and a half? Yeah, it really takes a year and a half.
right,
You know?
yeah,
And so a lot of it is like breaking down some of these sort of expectations that are based not in, I mean, like Taylor Swift's got a record. I'm sorry I keep bringing her up, but like, it's such a great analog.
yeah,
Like, her record's going to come out in October. She did not announce this today or this week and then
hmm,
send those to the pressing plant. Like, this has been in the works for a very long time. And so
yes,
part of it is like, that's what happens if you've got a machine, if you're a multinational business, which is
hmm,
essentially what it is.
oh yeah,
And then what is it like for somebody who is working part-time or full-time,
uh-huh,
trying to find a way to make it their full-time living?
right.
And what are the odds like for that? And why does a person at 53 still continue to try to do that? Right? And to tell all of those differing parts of the story in a way that sort of shines a light on the music business and the idea of being a creator in a way that I don't think I've seen.
Mm. What sticks out for me too is you've been doing this for a minute, and there's so much to it. There's still so much to it. I've been at this for a minute. There's still so like nothing's given, nothing's handed out. Like
No.
we do what we do. Um, and I hear from a handful of people that that they're burnt out with work or life or whatever. I just want to be an artist. I just want to be an artist, and you know, I want a soft life, and I want to sell my art or my photo prints. And it's like there's people that have been at it for decades trying to do that, and
Yeah.
it's so difficult. And but it comes back to story, though. Like if you've got a story to go with it, like you just increase your chances, I think, or the belief in what you want to try to do. And I think that's how you and I've got there, is like, here's my story. I'm just going to keep telling it, and um, whatever.
And I think too, like, the world is a better place when people make genuine shit
Yeah.
that means something, that has something to say. And it doesn't have to be, that doesn't mean it has to be political. Doesn't mean that it has to be profound.
Mm.
It just has a viewpoint, and it's honest. And everyone in the world responds to that. We all respond to it differently and to different
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
But that is the core tenet of being a human being. That is a principle of our humanity, is the way that we resonate with cultural things, right? It's one of the best ways that we have at understanding ourselves and each other, right? Think about how many lessons in life we've learned by watching a fictional story,
Oh, yeah.
right? Um, and so it does more than just tell us the story of what's actually happening on screen. It teaches us these deeper lessons. And I think in doing the work that you and I are doing, what we're continually trying to do is basically put work into the world that we would like to see,
Mm. Yep.
and to make the sort of connections that we want to make. All I want, all I want from my work, Seth, is the ability to do more of it.
I want to do more work. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I was having this conversation with Emma Swift, who's a terrific singer-songwriter, and I was like talking about work-life balance. She's like, "Matty, I don't have any work-life balance." I'm like, "Neither do I." I'm like, "But that's because I love my work."
Yeah.
Like, there's this
Yeah.
the myth of Sisyphus, of course. He's got to push the boulder up the hill,
Yes. Yes.
and then at the end of the day, the boulder rolls back down. And I recently heard someone sort of break this open in a way that I hadn't understood it, and they said it's only punishment if Sisyphus doesn't enjoy his work.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that we all find purpose in doing menial shit.
Sure.
But what it means is there is a thing for most of us where even when it's work and it sucks, we don't want to quit. We don't want to
No.
stop. Right? There are
Yeah.
days where I'm like, I gotta go take a nap,
Mhm.
or I gotta go open a beer, or I gotta go see a friend, or I gotta call and rave to my sister, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want to stop.
No.
I don't want to quit.
No. And there's easier ways to make a dollar.
Oh my God, so
So,
many.
so like this, it's to make any dollars in this pursuit of what we do, is it's damn hard. And but again, going back to the core part of what you're doing here, is you're telling a story. You're telling a story. You're making it about more than, "Hi, I have an album coming out, and I if you want to help me mix it, pay for mix it." Like, it's not just that. It's like, no, I'm doing this big
Right.
thing with a bunch of other people. There's so many moving parts, and like,
Yeah.
that in itself. I mean, that's the it sounds cheap, but it's like that's what reality television is. It's stories. It's
Yeah.
seeing people win or suck or lose or get kicked off the whatever. We love stories. I mean, the storage wars. It's a show about storage units. I mean, and what the people find in them and this and that. Sure, whatever. But it's like that's all it
It's
is.
where did this come from? Why did these people have this? What is this going to mean to somebody else? Where's it going to go from here? It's all that shit. Why is someone parting with this family heirloom that's worth $11,000? What's the story behind that? If you're doing like a pawn shop kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Why
right.
are you selling this super rare Civil War rifle
Yeah.
that's worth $100,000, and you're going to let me buy it from you for $25,000. Why are you doing like that? To me, that's more interesting than, oh, let's do like these detailed looks at the barrel length. It's like, no, I want to hear about that person who's getting rid of the rifle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so like for me, I guess what I sort of realized is that in the storytelling space that you're talking about, there is this ego that comes with it, right? You have to basically say, look, I mean, that's the art is selfishness, right?
Yeah.
Look at me. I have a thing. I have something to say. Pay attention.
I
But
bet. Yeah.
at the same time, like, I don't expect you to pay attention to me all the time or every
Sure.
time I talk or every time I have something out. What I think is that if I keep telling a compelling story, a compelling way from time to time, you'll come back and you'll engage with it.
Yeah.
And the point is that I'm kind of wrapping up in a very long-winded way to get back to what we were talking about earlier, which is you and I aren't going anywhere, right?
Right.
We're not, the work isn't going to stop no matter where the platform is, how the work looks, whether it's video or audio or written or something else.
Yeah.
The work's going to come because you and I are committed to doing the work and to telling that story.
Yes.
Above and beyond everything else.
Right. I never watched the show, but of course I've seen the clip on YouTube Shorts. But I think it's Ozark and that woman that screams, "If you want to stop me, you're gonna have to kill me." Like, yeah, I'm not gonna stop talking about this stuff. I've been talking about this stuff for like 15 whatever years, like way back when I was on Twitter, like, and it was just like, wait a second. This person has 20,000 followers, but it only got 400 likes. What's going on here?
Right.
And since then, it's just been like, wait a second, we're putting all this work out there and no one's seeing it.
Yeah. And
What's going on?
well, and that's like you mentioned TikTok earlier.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the allure. Ooh, I can get 100,000 views. And then where'd they go?
Then right, yeah.
And then what are you going to do with them? Like that sounds and feels and looks great. But you don't have an audience.
Right. I got 75,000 monthly listens on Spotify. Who are they?
Right.
Who are they? Where?
Right.
I mean, maybe you know the where, but
well, the better question I have with the Spotify data, not to get down that rabbit hole, but like one of the other questions I always ask is, says who?
Oh yeah, yeah. Really?
Right? Like you've decided already that if I don't get 1,000 plays on my song, you're not going to pay me. Right. If I don't get 1,000 plays, if I basically don't get 3 plays a day on average for my song, you're going to keep whatever I make. Now it's pennies, I understand, but we've all seen Office Space. We know how that shit ends.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Right? Am I really supposed to trust that you're going to do that kind of bullshit,
right?
And not cheat me on the number of plays I actually got?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Like there's no clearinghouse to go.
No.
Oh, this came in. And no, you just take them at their word, and they're so trustworthy. So
trustworthy. Yeah, you could definitely trust them.
Absolutely. Who can't trust a tech bro?
Speaking of trusting tech bros,
yeah,
you posted recently on the old Substack. Well, it was in response to someone else that recently said they're leaving Substack.
Yeah.
How I love talking about the tools, how we use this stuff. I'm a big believer that, like, none of these tools are benevolent. They're just tools and stuff. But there comes a point where it's just like, what the fuck is going on at Substack?
Yeah. There comes a point at which, like, there is a fundamental sort of set of levels that exist where it's like, okay, we can have a conversation about whether or not Nazi adjacent and pro-Nazi sites can be allowed to be on the platform based on free speech concerns in terms of service violations and those kinds of things. We can dance around those issues, right? Then we can step up to the next thing, which is we can come up with a clear set of sites that fit the first criteria that are white supremacist or pro-Nazi. and then do violate terms of service and are never even warned but allowed to stick around on the platform.
Yeah.
And then we can ratchet up one further and say that I saw at least one case that I cited in my piece that, a lot of the research that I did was from a piece that was posted a year and a half ago, and a great piece by Jonathan Katz in The Atlantic called Substack Has a Nazi Problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so I cited some of the stuff in there. And one of the things that he mentioned is that there's this one guy who literally, even after being kicked off of YouTube and being told by Stripe that they wouldn't pay him, Substack still let him turn on paid subscriptions.
Yeah.
They could have, if it was truly a free speech issue, said, fine, but you can't collect money because we don't want 10% of your blood money.
Mm-hmm.
They were happy to take 10% of his blood money.
Mm.
Then you ratchet up one more where David Ferrier, who is the guy who runs Webworm, who's leaving, posted a thing about a basically a plug, for lack of a better word, a promotion, a thing on the algorithm that showed up on his feed in notes in late July for a National Socialists Substack page that had nearly 800 subscribers.
Yeah.
And then like Hamish McKenzie, who is one of the CEOs and founders of Substack, has invited a known white supremacist with ties to the Unite the Right rally. Like it's not one thing, Seth.
Right. Oh yeah.
And I'm not necessarily saying fuck Substack, I'm out of here. Like I think some of it is that like you have to help clean house before you abandon ship. I'm running with my metaphors here.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying? Like I think I think as a user, I have a little bit of obligation, and maybe a small opportunity to try to talk about this a little bit, at least with my limited audience. Mm-hmm. And then to try to, again, maybe get some attention to have people understand that, like, look, yes, there's a lot of cool stuff happening on this platform, but it's also being funded by some people who have less than great ideas about the way the world should work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the idea that these do bad people use Visa and MasterCard? Yeah, sure. Do they probably shop at my local grocery store? Yeah, they probably do. But my local grocery store doesn't like promote them. They're not like customer of the week, this shitbag. Like they're editorializing it. And so like, I mean, something like,
which is, to go back to a word we used earlier, permission.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Permit. Right. It shows, hey, we can hang out here too.
Yeah.
So yeah, the editorializing of it or promoting of it is the part that just seems so like there's so many other. Think of how many artists and musicians and so that you could bring into the Substack office and do an interview with.
And I'm always a little puzzled, and part of this is just sour grapes, but I'm always a little puzzled why they are so frequently, almost exclusively, when they really push like the quote unquote feature stuff, it's with people who already have a massive following. And I understand that you have sort of an obligation to your shareholders and the future of your company to use those relationships. So when John Cleese or Michael Chabon or Jeff Tweedy come over to Substack, you want to say this is a space where people like that hang out. You want to come hang out too. I totally understand that. Once you've got people who are captive, and on notes, and they're already in the system and they're a member, I don't understand why you would continue to have them mostly pushing me toward people I'm already aware of that I've already found and decided to subscribe to or not. And I'm not saying don't ever show me, or don't show me that someone new who's got a big name is on, but like there is a way to sort of balance that and to profile people who are doing work, who it would change their work and their lives to get that kind of a platform.
Well, I mean, we're also talking about all the independent publications that used to do that years ago.
Right.
The music sites and independent publications that used to do that and push that, but like they've all withered. A handful of them have withered and died. Like they can't do it anymore. There's there's so little money involved, like flowing to that to begin with, but like, yeah, it's just hard. And so yeah, when something as large as Substack is could point the funnel at tiny, smaller stuff, could do more around that. Yeah, I don't know. And to your point too, of like people that are invested in it and people that have set up shop here and stuff. Because I saw that in your post too, of like, you're not leaving tomorrow or anything, but it's just like, yeah, because it's hard. It's hard to move things off of platforms.
And you posted a thing the other day.
Hmm.
If you had to add 10 subscribers by, I think it was the end of the week or Sunday or whatever it was,
Yeah.
and you couldn't do it on Notes, how would you do it? And the answer
Hmm.
is, I think most of us don't have an answer because
Yeah.
we're using our email list that we get through our Substack subscribership,
Hmm.
and then maybe we're using social media channels or we're using other uh, avenues, like in my case, my music or a show,
Hmm.
or people who find my podcast outside of the Substack platform.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know how to grow my community until I went and found another space that was at least similar to Substack in that it engendered community as well as providing a space for me to do all the work I do. Right. So the best thing Spotify has going for it are the people who are on Spotify.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And the people on Substack or the people on Substack. Yes.
I said Spotify and I meant Substack.
It's still, yeah, it still applies.
Still true. But yeah,
Yeah.
the best thing about Substack in my case is the people like you that I get to communicate and work with on Substack.
Yes. Yeah. We discover one another because of this one place. My fear is just, and I've said this for a while, like centralized kingdoms of power aren't the answer.
No.
And I think the power part is what's at play here, is like these giant megacorp whatever things with funding and stuff, like those aren't the answer. I think a lot of us need to find and build our own things. There needs to be more than, I mean, we can look back at like, oh, remember when it was just MTV and stuff? Yeah, because it was just MTV.
Yeah.
And
look at the massive amount of money and cultural push that was required to make that a thing for a while.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we talk about it as this monolith. They showed music videos for a decade.
Yeah.
Right? They're music television. They've been in existence for more than 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
For less than 25% of that time, they actually showed music.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have found out about Faith No More without MTV.
Oh,
me and my friends, Helmet and all these other bands. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I grew up watching, you might probably remember this. I grew up watching 120 Minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so, like, I found out everything I loved when I was 13. Like, it was like, holy shit, Echo and the Bunnymen's a thing. Sign me up. You know, and it was like, oh my God. Like, I can remember the first time I saw the Just Like Heaven video by The Cure. I was 15 years old, and it was like this mind-blowing experience. I was at a friend's house, and it was like, holy shit, you can do all of that in one song. This is amazing. How do I get more of this? And he was like, here's a tape. And he sent me home with 120 minutes. He's like, it's on every Sunday at midnight.
Wow.
Yeah. The next time we went to the mall, I bought a blank VHS tape. And I would set the timer, and then I would watch it when I got home Monday after school.
Heck yeah. Yep. Because there was a constraint. It wasn't available all the time. It wasn't, and right now everything's at our fingertips all the time. Yep. All the recorded music ever and ever will be is on our phones. Mm-hmm. Every music videos aren't, special anymore because they're all on YouTube.
Right, and there's so very, I mean, like, people make playlists or do, playlists on YouTube or Spotify or whatever. There's not very much genuine, thoughtful, sort of professional level curation happening. There's a lot of, like, I would say there's a lot of homogenizing. There's a lot of, here's a bunch of things that sound the same. And so you wind up with channels on, I'm an Apple Music user, so I can go in and listen to chill or relax or woodsy or indie or, recession pop or whatever. And they all have these sort of like vague kind of esoteric themes to them. And then you can kind of throw in whatever you want, but it's not like so much of the time when you look at if you like, or you're listening to I was listening to MJ Lenderman record the other day.
Okay.
Okay. So MJ Lenderman is a singer songwriter, and I know him because he was on the most recent Waxahachie album. And so you listen to the MJ Lenderman thing, and it's like, if you like this, you should listen to Waxahachie, obviously. And then it lists like 4 other people. They were all 4 people that I knew, and
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. And they were all very, very similar. And one of them was another band that MJ Lenderman is in, which makes total sense. But my hunch would be that no matter what my listening habits were,
Yeah.
I would have gotten those same 5 or 6 recommendations.
Right.
And so
Right.
it's not catered to me. It's catered to, this is kind of like the artist. And I understand how difficult it is to do all this. But this goes back to like, this is why people liked going to the record store.
Yeah.
Because even if I've heard 3 songs, or I've heard the whole goddamn thing now because I can do that and I can listen to it on my way to the store, right?
Yeah.
Even if I listen to it one time, to get back to your idea of stories, I can have a conversation with the clerk and he can go, this is really good, but I actually think you'd like the record before this
Yeah.
because it's more jangly. And this one's a little, like, the songs are good. It's a little more aggressive. I think you'll like this, but I actually think you should start here because I think this is going to really fire you up.
Mm-hmm.
Spotify's not going to tell me that. Apple Music's not going to tell me that.
No.
A relationship with another being is going to tell me that.
Which is why we need to move back to music blogs.
Oh, 100%.
Bring them back. We don't need another. We need a whole bunch of people. We need a whole bunch of tastemakers writing music blogs, talking about the music they like. Yeah, but Seth, just do that. Because years ago we did that and we all loved it. And then the corporations moved in, stripped it of all its soul and beauty, and put 90 ads on everything. And then of course we all hated it then.
Yes.
Oh, this sucks. And they gave us social media, which was nice and clean, and we could see everybody's things all in one place. And like, yeah, music blogs suck. They don't suck. We were just made to believe that they were.
Well, when you ruin a thing, it's easy to think that the thing sucks. It didn't suck. It just sucked in the iteration that we last used it. It was great for a while. And it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect.
No.
Right? But like, there was a time where you would, my guess is you did this. I certainly did this. I read the 5 Pitchfork album reviews of my morning coffee.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And so I would get on there. I would get on Stereo Gum. I would get on, Pop Matters. There were a bunch of these. Aquarium Drunker. There were a million of them. And I would kind of, like, I would go through these mixtapes they made, and I would read about, like, I would listen to a track or two, because, like, that was how you got stuff before Spotify. Was like, people would share a song, or they would share 2 songs from the record.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, there's a new record by so-and-so coming out. These 4 blogs all have different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating. And then you listen to the record and go, this one's actually more in my wheel. I agree more with this thing. And then you start to, over time, sort of realize where your taste falls.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's go back to what Michael said here in the chat. He when we were talking about MTV, he put in here Martha Quinn for the win.
One of
personality,
maybe my first genuine crush, Martha Quinn.
So, well, sure, yeah. But a person, a tastemaker, someone you trusted and came on and like you listened to what they had to say. That's what the music blog thing was. That's what this newsletter new world is right now on Substack. Like, I'm following this person. I'm following this person. Like, I like what they talk about. Not saying we need to all be independent, isolated creators doing what we do, but like, find the people whose thing you love and listen to and like, the musician and the stories that they're making that you're doing, like, and let it be that. Trust the few individual people that you do follow. Maybe you can't follow 800 different outlets, and that's fine. But you can't have 800 favorite bands.
If you're following 20 people like you and me, and you're paying attention in and out, you're getting stuff on notes, you're getting stuff in email, some of the stuff you're not seeing at all, but you're getting a sense of things. And you're doing this with 15 or 20 people, let's say. What are the chances that you and I in a given week and those other 15 or 20 people aren't going to recommend people outside of that sphere that they're paying attention to at the moment.
Right.
Right. So we're constantly giving you an opportunity to expand your ability to reach and hear different voices simply by just following us. Right. You don't have to know a million things. What you do is you go, I trust Matt and Seth. I trust that they found each other because they both have these things in common and this shared idea of how shit should work. And if they both think this is cool, I probably would think this is cool. Like that is the power of suggestion and just the idea of trust.
Yeah.
Which gets back to the whole question of curation, which is I'm not selling you something except for me.
Yeah.
Right? All I want, to go back to what we talked about 45 minutes ago, all I want is to just do more of this.
So that's it.
Right? I want enough money to not have to give my time to other people doing shit I don't want to do.
To take away from the thing I do want to do. Yes. Yeah. Last October, definitely in the last couple months, I found I really enjoy hosting Zoom calls with my subscribers. Love it. And I thought, I better take it slow. And I did. I took it slow. Let me do 1 a week. I'm doing 4 a week now. And this is my second live this week. I love this stuff.
Me too.
Love it. And, but that's what my paid offering is. If you want to be on calls with me, whatever, here, you can go do that. That's it, man. Because I just want to do more of that. If I could do them, if I can wake up, and this has been a new mantra for me, is I just want to talk to cool people.
Oh my God.
You
watch The Bear?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a TV guy.
Okay, fair enough. So all you need to know is there's this guy who's a little bit lost, and he's been studying philosophy and kind of figuring some shit. And he's gone through a divorce, and he's had a bunch of changes in his life, and he's kind of been a fuck up.
Yeah.
And there's this scene where he's talking to kind of a well-regarded person in his field, and he says, I've been thinking about those Zen gardens in Japan with all the rocks, and they're all manicured beautifully, and they're all really arranged well. And he goes, yeah, I know those. He goes, I've been spending all this time trying to figure out which one of the rocks is me. And he's like, I've been looking at them all, and I've been trying to figure out which rock am I. And the other day I realized, I think I'm the fucking sand. And Seth, I think I'm the fucking sand. I think my job in this world, as much as it is to write songs or articles or podcasts or have conversations like this, at the end of the day, it is about connecting with other human beings about ideas that matter.
Yeah.
Everything I do is a story. It's part of that single thing. The Neil Young phrase, it's all one song. My work is my life.
Yeah.
Right. So what I mean by that is not that I don't have other joys or pursuits or things. My kids are way more important than whatever happens in this shit.
Sure.
Right. But at the end of the day, when you get to do what you and I are doing, what you are doing is through your work, you're creating the life that you want to live, and you're making the person you want to be. And that really has been kind of like my story arc for the last 2.5 years, as I've kind of walked away from a corporate job, done this, driven a ride share, tried to hustle as a side musician, done a bunch of touring, all that shit. And, in a way, this whole record project is kind of a culmination of my confidence that I've gained through Substack, through building an audience here sort of slowly over the course of 30 months. And realizing that, people do come back every day or every week to hear what I have to say and share.
Yep.
And so if I could combine that stuff with this other part of my life that I do, it just seems like a really perfect fit and a really wonderful way, as we said, to kind of tell. I think it's a larger story about independent creativity, because the Substack invariably has to be part of the story.
Oh, yeah.
right? So the fact that I'm launching all of this on Substack, that I'm making most of these contacts through this platform, and more importantly, by doing that work every day,
Mhm.
one is impossible without the other.
Yeah. I also equate it too of like, the platforms we use or the tools we use could change over time. Like I remember one of the last people I connected with on Twitter before I closed that account. Laura Kidd, who you've probably seen me talk to, the musician
Yeah.
from the UK. Uh we connected via Twitter. Um and the idea then of like, could I have met more Lauras on Twitter if I still had my account? Sure. But I'm not. Like, I've met people here, and, like, who knows where I'm at next year? Like,
Seth,
we'll see.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, I have a lovely little story that I think is going to perfectly illustrate your point. I take an annual trip with my mother, each
Yeah.
winter. And, this past winter, we went to Peru together for like 11 days. And one of the things I was most looking forward to was going to Machu Picchu. And we went up to Machu Picchu, and
Mm,
then you come back down on the train, and it's really an amazing experience. And the train ride's beautiful. And the way the train cars are set up is it's like old school train cars where there are two seats and a small table, and then two seats facing you. And so
yeah,
it's a section of four, but you're facing the couple across from you.
yeah.
And the couple across from us were this lovely middle-aged couple from Britain named Mick and Carolyn. She had worked as a travel agent, and he drove a truck all over Europe.
Mm,
We had an amazing conversation with them for the full hour that we were on the train,
yeah.
to the point that my mother and I still talk about it.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
2 days later, we're walking through the square in Cusco, which is sort of the city that's closest to Machu Picchu. And we're walking along, and my mother and I are kind of going, well, where are we going to go get a beer? And we hear this kind of faint British accent from the corner go, Deborah, is that you? And it was Mick and Carolyn, and they happened to be walking across the square at the exact same time.
Wow.
And we had a lovely little chuckle. We saw them for 5 minutes, and they walked up to their room, and we went and had a beer. And the lesson that I learned from that is that it's not about the device you use, the place
Mm-mm.
you go, the the end game that you have in mind. It is about the openness of the experience and the ability to connect when the opportunity presents itself.
Yep.
And that works regardless of whatever the tool is, whether that is Substack or a train car. Doesn't matter.
Right. Whew. Love it. We gotta end on that.
Okay.
That's a good one. We
All right.
I'm sorry because I'm peeking at a little of my freelance work over here on my desktop. I was like,
You're all
oh
good.
shit.
You're
Yeah,
all good. You got
I'm
bills
not.
to pay. I get it.
Yeah, I'm not fully. No, I do social media skate club 24/7. Like,
Yeah.
oh shoot, here's this thing I got to do. But no, I think we covered a lot of ground. We got some great insight into what you're doing with. I mean, not just like to say crowdfunding is shortchanging it. Like, I'm doing this story. I'm making this story happen, and like you could be a part of it. So I'm glad we got to cover that.
Do you want to be a part of telling?
You are saying something so profound right now, and the screen is frozen. And it says your internet connection is unstable. What a horrible way to end this. Oh no, Matt. Oh, bummer. Oh, no. See, look at that technology. It helps us and wrecks everything at the same time. See, we could say thanks, Substack, for bringing us together. Thanks, Substack, for kicking Matty out of here. That's a bummer. I'm sure he said something very profound. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Really appreciate it. There'll be a replay posted. Awesome. Kato, thanks for hanging out. I see Scott in here. I see Michael. I see, oh my goodness, so many people. Sean, you just popped in. We're done now, but there'll be a replay. I'll have the replay up later today, probably. So thanks everybody for hanging out. I got bills to pay now, so make sure to subscribe. And when we find Matty, we'll also hope you subscribe to his project as well and his crowdfunding musical escapade. It'll be good stuff. So have a good one, everybody. Take care. Have a great weekend. I don't want to say goodbye. I don't want to do this freelance work that I got to do, but I got to do it. I got to bills to pay. Bye, everybody.